Troy is not completely certain about the Model 3 production ramp in Fremont right now because he does not have enough data. Probably he will collect a few win numbers very soon, and we should hear more from him about how is the production going over there. If you have taken a delivery of the refresh Model 3 in the US, you can help him out by leaving your VIN number. AJ just shared some pretty interesting research. This analysis shows that pure BEV makers with in-house vehicle manufacturing are deeply loss-making. The only exception is, of course, Tesla. In other words, no EV startup has figured out how to make money from EVs. Yet eventually someone will figure it out, but not yet. Except for Tesla, only EV makers attached to bigger non-pure BEV makers have reported profitability. While auto gross margin, of course, is important in the end, the thing that counts the most is how much do you keep after spending on everything else. You can have a positive gross margin, but you can still be losing money. More celebrities are getting Cybertrucks. This is Travis Scott pulling up in his Cybertruck. It's like free advertising. It is now officially official. Malaysia finally delivered its first Model Y today. Porsche has just unveiled the new Taycan Turbo GT, which is the most powerful series production Porsche of all time. It is pretty expensive though, $232,000, over 1,000 horsepower and 0 to 60 in as low as 2.1 seconds. And it does one Nürburgring lap time in 7 minutes 7 seconds, which is 18 seconds faster than the Model S Plaid. Yeah, but the Plaid does not even cost $100,000. However, the Model S Plaid has a little bit more range. So if you remove some of the batteries from the Plaid and make the range exactly the same, would the Plaid still be behind the Porsche? I don't know. Also, the Model S Plaid does have a lot more cargo capacity. Ford is losing millions per day due to a strike in Germany where it's retiring the Focus. Uncertainty around the plan's future sparked after Ford decided to build its next generation EVs in Spain rather than in Germany. We know that Tesla possibly looked into Spain, and I'm going to be interested in how well it goes for Ford in Spain, because maybe Tesla is going to build a factory over there eventually. Anyway, without digging into the story too much, it is interesting that Ford does not want to continue production over there, and yet people are striking. You're not gonna keep Ford by making things worse for Ford. James says Toyota is a cancer. That's a pretty strong statement. Is it really that bad? What did Toyota do this time? As the car market moves steadily toward all-electric, Toyota has been lobbying governments for at least 3 years to slow that transition, according to an analysis of the company's engagement activities by InfluenceMap, the climate think tank. Toyota has done so in the US, Canada, UK, and Australia, among others, the analysis found. In a 2022 report, InfluenceMap ranked Toyota as the 10th most influential company blocking climate policy action globally out of more than 400 companies in its database. Toyota, other automakers, and an auto trade association pushed back hard on the EPA's proposed tailpipe rule. The Biden administration is now considering delaying the stringent requirements that were set to start in 2027 until after 2030. And here are, I think, the top 10 companies. You can see many oil companies on this list. And there's Gazprom, which is a Russian oil and gas company. So they supposedly are doing just a little bit worse compared to Toyota. Now, I believe we don't need any strict regulations to transition to EVs. I think it will happen naturally. As a Tesla stock investor, I don't mind the regulations selfishly because that benefits Tesla, but I have principles and I don't think we need any extra regulations. However, when companies actively lobby to stop something, maybe that's where it's a little bit more fair to fight back with some regulations to counteract that lobbying effort. To me, this is major news, and this proves that Elon is incredibly different from how OpenAI tried to portray Elon. OpenAI had this response to Elon Musk's lawsuit, basically accusing that Elon is a complete hypocrite and that he was all for OpenAI being for profit and closed source. I'm oversimplifying here. Read the whole thing if you haven't yet, by the way. But Elon now says that this week, xAI will open source Grok. OpenAI, if you are listening to this, please go ahead and open source ChatGPT-4. I really don't think that OpenAI is going to win this fight from a moral point of view. A big shout out goes to Elon Musk, the MVP of the earth, the person who's leading the free speech movement with X. I mean, if Elon did not own X, I don't think we would be able to speak as freely today as we can. If you disagree with the government. If you always agreed with the government, of course, you will say, oh, there was no issue, no problem. But if you disagree, you're going to have issues. And I know. I own a clinic. There are some things I just cannot say. I would love to go into some of these things, and later, maybe I will. But for now, I'll just say I'm very happy with Elon running X. Fund manager Gene Munster says, many will see this as a swing at OpenAI. I see it as evidence that xAI is rapidly progressing and is the hottest private company. Musk reports that xAI has not and is not raising money, but I believe that will soon change because speed and deep pockets are paramount in the AI race. When it does, he's going to raise boatloads of money fast. And if I could maybe put a little bit of money in that, I would be happy, but I know there's a limited number of shareholders in a private company, and probably Elon is going to be able to raise many more millions of dollars than however much money I could give him, so it wouldn't make sense to accept any money from relatively small shareholders like me. Probably, unless you can provide tens of millions of dollars, he's not going to be interested. Gary Blatt just gave another Tesla stock update. Let's be real. Tesla stock is now trading at 44 times forward earnings per share, its lowest PE since the first half of 2023, during which the median was 58 times. We and others have been talking about Q1 Wall Street deliveries estimates being too high for 2 weeks now, so the buy-side consensus could already be discounting a 425 to 440,000 delivery result this quarter. The San Jose trial next week could cause some uncertainty, but in the end, we believe this jury will side with Tesla's view that Tesla has warned drivers using autopilot to stay fully engaged and be ready to take control at any time. I agree with Gary there. We are encouraged that Tesla is now experimenting with digital advertising to convince ICE owners to go EV by emphasizing overall lower cost and charging convenience. Finally, we like that Tesla management has so far resisted the urge to cut price going into the quarter end, which shows some much needed discipline, says Gary Blatt. In other words, it sounds to me like he's telling us to buy Tesla stock, which also could mean that he's perhaps getting more comfortable with the idea of buying back some Tesla stock soon. I'm not sure, but if you take his word as it is, that's what I would think. Although keep in mind that he was responding to a very negative post from someone here. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in tomorrow's episode. Thank you so much for watching.